Hello, welcome back to another City Skylines video. Today it's going to be milestones 6 and 7, and we're going to be adding some buses, changing some roads, and adding new zonage, so the bigger houses and bigger commercial. In the previous episode, we were emptying this garbage pile because we want to get rid of it. It's 19% left, so we're almost there. We'll continue down unloading that, and then once that's done, we'll see a certain symbol that I'll point out once I see it, and we'll go from there. Probably a good idea to add another police station, as we are in the red for the detained criminals. So probably another good spot near a residential area. And now it's time for some buses. You can just use a normal bus depot, but I'm going to use a biofuel one. I think it's part of the DLC. I just like it a little bit more. So I'm just going to build that. You can build the other one too. It really doesn't make a huge difference. You must build a depot first, and then once you build a depot, then you can set bus route. So this is the bus route icon, and then you just keep on clicking wherever you want the routes to go. You can see the pathway. People always like it when you build these things because it makes it easier for them. I don't usually like making it too long because I find it puts a lot of buses on the roads, which I guess could be a good thing, but it's not visually appealing when you see a whole bunch of buses lined up, which usually happens right away. You kind of have to wait a bit after you let the buses go. As you can see, they're starting to come out, so there's a few of the buses going to the routes. Again, you have to make the depot in order to have the buses or anything else come out. So I'm going to make another bus route over here. I usually like it in residential areas the most, sometimes commercial and sometimes industrial. And this one I'll probably do all three. It's also not usually a good idea to put the stop on the same stop as another place. So like right here, I'm not going to put it on that spot just because it'll stack up the buses from different routes and usually causes traffic jams. So since I've made new roads, I'm going to check to see if I should get rid of the traffic lights. Yep, so here, get rid of those. Again, makes it a little bit easier for traffic to come around. Oh, and it looks like that garbage place is done unloading, so we'll go check that out shortly. This line of cars coming up here because it's getting stuck behind the buses. That's what I mean. You don't want to have a lot of buses where then they get stuck. And the amount usually has to do with how long the route is. You can actually go into a tab and change how many buses you want on each route. I can show that another time. So look at all of these roads here. Each one has a different cost per week. So 80 cents, 96, etc. You can see the differences here, how it will add up even from the small lanes to the middle to the large ones. You'll notice I usually like placing roads down without that tab. So it's sort of like a free form going around. I have a little bit more control over it and it's not as clunky. It's usually a good idea to have multiple exits and entries. That way it doesn't focus all the traffic into one zone or one area. Can't forget to make sure the water pipes are reaching to this area so that the city skyline people don't get upset with me. Don't think I'm going to do the bigger or high density residential area here. I'm going to do it right below this section, so we'll do the low density just because it might look a little bit nicer having the smaller houses here and not like skyscrapers. So notice this little divot right here. Kind of makes me think the housing might get flooded, so we might make a barrier, which is in here. I think, no, that's the footpath. The last, here it is. So you gotta drag this along here, and then it'll make kind of like a barrier against the water. But we're kind of restricted, so I'm just gonna purchase this other area, and then kind of work on that around the edge around here. I think I might eventually make this go all the way around this island, but for now I'm just going to do it kind of around here, and then maybe a little bit more down around here. Maybe, no, maybe a little bit more. I find that once you use it, you kind of have to use it all the way around, or else it looks weird having it just stop randomly. But that's just a personal preference, so it's up to you guys if you want to do it or not. So here we have the footpath. You can see how easy it is for me to drag it to the roads. You always want to make it connect. So you just, wherever it's blue to just before it's red, you might notice sometimes it goes red. I also try not to destroy buildings if I can. When you have this checked on, makes it a lot harder to do. So take a look at this. So I go up, I can't even angle it. I'm trying to make it go to the side, but it just jolts all over the place. And it always wants to connect to something too, but it never connects to the roads. And now see, I unchecked it and now I can freely move it around. Sometimes it will clunk to the other stuff, but for the most time it's very easy to use when it's unchecked in the snap to section. So none of the all, uncheck the all. I don't really want to get rid of these rocks, so I guess I'll get rid of this house. And there's a couple different types of these paths. The main ones I'm going to use is the one with the trees. And then maybe later on I'll make a bicycle one. You'll notice that a lot of those places are getting abandoned, and that's usually due to not having a certain service, so it looks like they don't have enough commercial. So we'll have to make more commercial, but first I'm going to extend this over here to try to relieve traffic on the other end, just going up to that highway. We might as well use it. It's already in the game, or at least on this map, so might not hurt, but we'll see. It might end up making it worse because people might cut through the city just to continue along the highway instead of going around. But if that happens, I think there's a certain policy that you can implement where people can't use these roads to cut through. But that's with districts and whatnot. We'll probably do that in the next episode and make some districts. I think I might buy these other two ones here. Just makes it out of the way. I'm going to make it 9 tiles anyways near the end. You'll notice also too this natural resources. That's another industry section that you can completely get into. And it usually has a factor with a DLC. But I think without the DLC you can somewhat play with natural resources and stuff. So there's oil, farmland, ore, and I think fishing too. Just thinking where I want my next commercial spot to be. Probably be closer to the industrial side, but first, since we got the milestone, we can place a university because currently they have none. So I'm going to place it near a lot of the residents. And I might as well make sure the schools are good, so I'll do another elementary up here because I'm going to expand the residential area further along that highway. See this yellowish tinge here? That's fertile land or good for farming, but I'm not going to put any farming here. Sometimes you can visually see in the land what it has as a resource. So here you can start to see some people are cutting through, at least it looks like they're cutting through just to get to the other side to get on the highway, so I might have to deal with that later. Oh yeah, so this garbage site's done, so we have to stop emptying it, and then we should be able to, oh yeah, we also have to turn it on and off, and we should be able to delete it. Oh, looks like it didn't empty properly, so let's see. Oh, it's 1% full. I guess I just misclicked it, so I have to empty it again, probably turn it on, and then stop it that way. So that should work. We'll do stop emptying, and then delete it quick, and there you go. Okay, so now we can expand this road here to make it look a little bit nicer. I like to pause it and then just kind of add the industrial areas to it just to make it look nice. And now it's probably a good idea to make more commercial area, so I'll do that down here, because all those industrial places are getting abandoned, and that's usually to not having enough commercial, or the land value isn't as good as what they want, so they abandon it that way too sometimes, or there's not enough customers. Could be a couple things that happen. I'm gonna make the higher density commercial here. Give it a little bit of variety here in our area on this island at least. Since we also have more zones now, I might as well increase the taxes to the 12%. Remember, don't go over 12% because it makes your city skylines people upset. And it gives you the most money at that range. This is going to be a nice residential area, so I'm going to make 4 lanes with the trees right away. I'm not going to upgrade it later. If anything, I'd upgrade it to the 6 lanes with trees later if it gets jam-packed, which I don't think it will. So here I'm going to do the high density residential area just to make it look a little bit nicer or a little bit different than what I've been doing or what we've been doing this whole time. We can run into a little bit of a noise issue here being so close to the 6-lane roadway. Sometimes it can upset the city people, but I think we should be okay, so I'll just leave it for now. Probably do this area here too as high density residential, but I haven't decided yet. We'll see a little bit later. And it might be a good idea to connect these here too. Yeah, that's probably a good idea too, so it doesn't put all the traffic strain on that one area just above here. And again, get rid of some of the traffic lights. Makes the traffic flow a little bit better. The water's getting a little bit low here. I think I might have to add another inlet. I think eventually I'm going to change to water towers, but that's not till I get to the next, or at least the next milestone after the one coming up. Just so it's not relying on sucking up the water there, I can just put it down in a certain area and have a bunch of water towers. I also do that too because the ones that we have right now for the inlet makes a lot of noise, and currently it's right next to residential, which I probably should have thought of before. You can see the little area around it showing headphones, which means it's noisy for the people around it. So we'll have to change that later, and you'll see they'll have smiley faces after we get rid of it. And there's the next milestone, so there's a bunch of good stuff there. We get a good cash bonus, so we're up to, looks like 440,000, I guess it's euros. And since we made a new inlet, it's always important to make another outlet, so that way it balances. This section here is about heating. We're not in a winter map, so we don't have to worry about this or waste our money on it. Maybe another episode or sometime we'll do a winter map and see how that goes. It's kind of cool to see the differences in this game. It's a good idea to make sure we have enough fire stations here. Don't really want to build another cemetery. I'm kind of waiting for the crematorium because it does the same thing, takes up less space, and it gets rid of dead people too. It doesn't just store it. The cemetery is kind of like the dump zone where it just builds up and you can't delete it. You have to empty it, get all the dead people out, and it goes to the crematorium. So I usually don't have it cemetery. Now I'm just gonna increase the land value around here. You can see all the red is good. It's gonna stay low level unless I increase it somehow, and this is one of the common ways to increase it. So I'm gonna put that up, and you'll notice that the buildings change colors. You want it to be the bright, bright blue. It'll also help with the abandonment issue, so buildings won't get abandoned as easily if the land value's very high. Probably a good idea to make some more bus routes over here to lower the traffic once again. I think I might make this one though interact with some commercial places, so you can drop off your people at their work, so gets rid of traffic altogether. Actually, maybe not this one. I'll do another one that goes through commercial area and industrial, probably one over here somewhere. So yeah, and here I'm going to do high density, so we'll have this connect with that other area of commercial, and then even go down to this lower commercial area, or the high density commercial. Actually, it's probably a bad idea having it in that loop there. I feel like it's going to trap traffic there, so you can drag it down, and then as you just saw, it'll move the bus stop, which is pretty helpful to do sometimes. Do all of these as high density, and then in between this I'll do low commercial, so it's kind of like little gas station shops or whatnot in between people. Let's take a look at the electrical. Oh, look at that. So we're in the yellow, so we can go to our budget and just increase it so that way it covers it. We don't actually have to build another electrical area. It's always a good idea to keep an eye out on those types of services. The water and the electrical at the very least, I'd say are one of the most important ones, and then probably fire stations is another really big one. These are all the industrial ones, but those are part of a DLC. I'm probably not going to use these. I might use this post office one, but not now. So as you can see, a lot of traffic's building up here. It might just be because they're trying to get into this little industrial area, so I think I might build a little connection here. I'm not going to build it there though, because if you build intersections too close together, it can build up really weird traffic, like they'll stop randomly. It's kind of weird in the AI, I believe. So that right there, that should work pretty nice, I'd say. Maybe even upgrade the roads over here to 6 lanes or 3x3. Yeah, I think we'll upgrade these roads here too. I think that'll help. Just so they have another lane to turn into and choose where they want to go. I think I might upgrade these roads up here too, and maybe around as well, just to help out with traffic. These guys are missing some water. You'll see quite often I miss one or two houses with water, but I usually try to surround the area before I start making the zonage. But it's always a good idea to go back and check where you just were, just to see if there's any issues like that come up. Alright, I think that's it for today. I'm just gonna double check, make sure everything looks alright. But yeah, thanks for watching guys. Take care.